Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review, part 2. That's right, everybody. Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Time for the weekly comic book review, part 2. That's right. This week I had so many books to read that there was no way I was going to be able to read them all and get the video out in time for you guys as you expect it to be. So, seriously, I had to stave off a few of them until today, and I read them and we're going to talk about them. But first, I got to say a big thank you to our buddy Chris Polk. Seriously, Chris, you were the coolest dude ever. A week or two ago, some time ago, in the PCP Army, our group on Facebook, so go look for PCP Army as well as Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and join the group. But on that group, I shared a picture of a Clark Kent Superpowers action figure from the 80s that I always wanted, never got, and he came into the shop today, and now I got one. There it is right there in all of its glory. It's the Clark Kent Superpowers figure, and yes, it still works. That is so freaking cool, Chris. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. You have fulfilled a 6-year-old Robbie Bill's dream. That is so fantastic. So let's get into the other comic books. Obviously, the pick of the week was this one right here. It's Marvel 2-in-1, the annual. This was fantastic. If you want to hear more about that and the other titles, check out the video that came up the other day. But let's get into some of the other titles that I did not get a chance to get into. From Image Comics, we got Dead Hand #3. I'm loving this book. It's a cool spy thriller. It's got twists and turns out of nowhere. It's written by Kyle Higgins, who's just tearing it up right now over at the Power Rangers corner of the comic book universe. Fantastic stuff. Stephen Mooney doing the artwork with Jordi Belair and Clayton Cowles. Seriously, Cowles and Belair are the best letterers and the colorists in the business right now. They're so good, so prolific, doing such amazing work. It's a great spy thriller. It's tied in a little bit to the Cold War, but like I said, twists and turns. Every single issue has a cliffhanger that outdoes the previous one, and issue 3 is no exception. I love it. The design work, everything about this book is really cool, and this issue in particular answers the question, what would it be like if Idris Elba became James Bond? Like, if he played James Bond, it happens in here, and it's pretty dope. Awesome. From Aftershock Comics, we got Babyteeth #11, starting the 3rd arc of Donny Cates' Antichrist saga here. This book just keeps getting better and better, and Gary Brown's artwork just keeps getting better and better. It becomes more detailed, more nuanced, it's more rich. The story's got more layers to it now. It's fantastic. When this book first started out, I was like, this is okay. But I don't know how much Donny Cates is throwing into this story. I think he's throwing a lot into the story, and so was Brown. Seriously, I'm loving it. Basically, a story about the Antichrist. The Antichrist has been born. This is the story of his mother. And even if your child was the Antichrist, you'd love your child, right? You'd want the best for him, right? That's what Babyteeth gets into. It's great. Seriously, this starts arc 3, skips ahead a few months, but it's really cool, very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. If you've been reading this book, you're going to love it even more at issue 11. If you haven't been reading this book, definitely check it out. The first 2 trades are coming out, so check that out. From Image Comics, we got Kick-Ass #5. This is a brand new Kick-Ass. Patience is the new character. I'm really into it. It's some of the best artwork I've ever seen from John Romita Jr. I love the artwork. I love the story. I love the new character. It's a way to do a reboot, to do a relaunch, and do it completely different, but still have it tied into what you were doing and the world you were building, but have it be something different, fresh, unique, and have the weight all on its own. This book carries itself. You never have to have read any of the previous Kick-Ass stuff to enjoy this one, seriously. Not my favorite chapters so far, to be honest with you, and we know that there's one more from Mark Miller, the writer, and John Romita Jr. is the artist. But in the issue 7, we got Steve Niles coming in, but I'm loving this reimagining of Kick-Ass. I love Patience Lee. I love this new character. I'm really digging it. So we got some news right now that Matthew Vaughn's kind of thinking about rebooting the Kick-Ass cinematic franchise. This is what he needs to do, and I'm fairly certain that's what he's gonna do. Copperhead #15 is here. #19 is here. My bad. Misread that. This book is awesome. It's one of my favorite sci-fi books, period, on the shelves right now. I love Descender. I love Injection. There's so much rich, dense stuff out there, but Copperhead is easy, breezy, fun, light, and free, and it's tightly and concisely scripted. It's amazing. The dialogue's great. The pace is great. The characters are great. This is a true sci-fi western and it's just glorious. I love it. This is the start of a brand new arc. I believe this is arc 4. I thought this book was wrapping up in the last couple issues, but seriously, it's going to keep going. A new story starts here. It's very intriguing, very engaging, great artwork, great script. Copperhead from Image Comics. Do not miss out on that book. If you have not read Copperhead, I guarantee you that you will love it. If you follow this channel and you like a lot of my recommendations, read some Copperhead. I'll throw some links down below so you can grab book 1, 2, and 3 even and check it out. I want to point out from Vault Comics, we got Deep Roots #1, the second printing. That's a super cool cover, an homage to Bernie Wrightson and Len Wein over on the Swamp Thing. Seriously, this is a great book. If you missed out on issue 1, it's a great chance to check out issue 1 with the second print, with the super cool cover, and of course issue 2 is out this week as well. I gave a rave review for that in the previous video, part 1 of this series. Infinity Countdown Darkhawk #2 is here from Marvel Comics. This Infinity Countdown story's kind of been intriguing, it's kind of been neat. I'm kind of pumped for what's coming up in Infinity Wars. This Darkhawk story has nothing to do with that, but it really does get into the character of Darkhawk. It takes on this new direction that was set in that Marvel Legacy one-shot. It's written by Chris Sims and Chad Bowers with artwork by Gang Hyuk Lim. The artwork is amazing. I love the artwork. I think it's perfect for this story. I think it's perfect for this character. Beautiful, luscious artwork with great coloring. Lim does a fantastic job here. Death's Head has made an appearance. So if you're a Death's Head fan, you want to check this out. If you're a Darkhawk fan, seriously check it out. Some exciting things happen by the end of this issue for Darkhawk fans. If you're not super into Darkhawk, I don't know how this is going to read. I think it's going to be okay, but just kind of like not significant or memorable. But for a Darkhawk fan, like, because back in the 90s, this stuff's been fun. I'm so glad to see that character back. Old Man Logan #41 is here. Charles Soule's doing some stuff with The Hunt for Wolverine, The Return of Wolverine, and all that stuff. And I just wish they'd give it to Ed Brisson. Seriously, Ed Brisson's been doing an amazing job on this title ever since he took over from Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire had a great character study into the character of Logan / Wolverine, but what Brisson has done is he's taken it and he's made it more fun. He's made it more action-packed, a more exciting Wolverine-type adventure. It's really cool. The basic gist of what's been going on in Brisson's work lately is that Old Man Logan is losing his healing ability. He has lost a hand. He's lost an eye. It's really cool. And now Kraven the Hunter is involved, trying to hunt down Wolverine, of course not in his prime. And there's some interesting, funny little dialogue that comes out from that. But seriously, Ed Brisson's doing a great job on this title. It's why Marvel pegged him to do that Extermination series coming up, where they're kind of like, I think, try to rectify and fix all the mistakes that they've made in the last few years with the X-Men, which I think, in my personal opinion, have been many. But I'm very excited because it seems like the X-Men books are like turning the corner, and they're going to get really, really good coming up soon. And speaking of the next book that's really good already, Exiles #4 is here from our writer Saladin Ahmed and artist Javier Rodriguez, with amazing inks by Alvaro Lopez and beautiful coloring by one of my favorite colorists in the business right now. That's Chris O'Halloran. It's great. The Exiles is cool. If you're a fan of the old Exiles series, if you're a fan of the character Blink, you're going to like this. If you're a fan of Ahmed's work, you're going to like this. It's dense, it's rich, it's meaty. At times it feels a little verbose and it does kind of drag a little bit at times, but Rodriguez's artwork really cements it all. And this issue's got The Thing, that's right, The Thing as Blackbeard. These are cool what-if type tales. So the Exiles bounce from reality to reality, and what kind of sets the new journey off in issue 1 of this is really cool, really intriguing, and very DC Crisis type, like, in a way. But it's really fun, great book, great dialogue, great characters, and seriously, this super cartoon version of Wolverine, Wolvie cracks me up. Speaking of X-Men books, New Mutants Dead Souls is here with issue #4. It continues on the theme of naming everything after I almost said New Order, a Joy Division song. But this is a great issue that really does kind of focus in on what it's like when a team loses a member. And it gets into the character of Ilyana Rasputin, of Magic, and her anxiety about being the new leader of this New Mutants team. But I've been liking this book. It's light. This isn't the best issue, but it is a nice exploration. But they kind of have like a cheap little like out of nowhere kind of thing they do, and it's typical comic book stuff. And Matthew Rosenberg's dialogue is flawless. It's great, and I love the character study of Ilyana right here in this book. But Dead Souls, it's all right. So if you've been liking it, might as well continue, because it's actually doing a really good job of setting some stuff up old school New Mutants fans, I don't know how you're going to feel about this. They kind of do some things and mess some things up and this and that, but it's got a great cast of characters, and I'm loving the dialogue. I'm actually liking the story. Star Wars Darth Vader number 17 is here. You know, I may talk a lot of smack about Charles Soule at time with his work on Wolverine or Daredevil or whatever, but his Darth Vader work is flawless. It's amazing. It is so good. This is Vader being Vader at his best. And this is a story about how they completely take over Mon Cala. That's right, where the Mon Calamari are, you know, like Admiral Akbar and all that stuff. So it's how the Empire conquers their planet. It's big, it's epic, it's fun. Vader's badass. It's got the Inquisitors from Star Wars Rebels. Star Wars fans, Vader is the best Star Wars book on the shelf right now, I guarantee you. Jonathan Hickman has finally released the last issue of S.H.I.E.L.D. Holy cow, 6 years we've been waiting for this book by Jonathan Hickman, Dustin Weaver. I don't know if it's any good because I haven't read it, because it's been 6 years. There's no way I remember what happened. I have to go out there, dig into my comic books, try to find the other S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. But what Hickman and Weaver were doing on this book was amazing. It was flawless. S.H.I.E.L.D. as an organization, it's been around since like the dawn of time. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, all these people, Isaac Asimov, Isaac Newton. Fantastic stuff. Love it. History, science, superheroes. My 3 favorite things, you throw them together in one book, and I'm so glad that it may have taken a very long time, but the end is here. From DC, we got Sideways here, number 5. This is the first issue without Kenneth Rocafort. The biggest problem with this New Age of Heroes stuff is that they have all these like all-star artists like signed up, and they're like, well, we're going to put their name first, and we're giving them like creator credit and ownership, like part ownership of the characters and this and that, and we're like, oh man, they're really investing in this. No, not so much, not so much. They got some new characters, they get some great artists to launch these characters, and then they're just going to like put on some other people. That being said, Sideways number 5 is a decent issue. The artwork is really cool. I thought Kenneth Rocafort had been putting out some of the best artwork of his career, but Robert Gill does a great job with this issue. Justin Jordan's script is nice, and it's good, and it's intriguing. It's intriguing, if not just slightly forgettable, but it's still a fun book. Some interesting things, and kind of like the whole direction of this book kind of starts becoming more clear in this issue. But I do like it. I think it's all right. I think this New Age of Heroes experiment has been decent, but I really think that they should have like had these artists stay on there and just be a little bit more strong and like really keep them going, because like it seems like when the new artists come on, it kind of takes a dip in quality. It's not as impactful, not as action-packed. I don't know. That's how I feel about Sideways, though it was still a very good read. Batman Prelude to the Wedding Part 3 is here. It's the Batgirl versus the Riddler. That's right. I had to look because this book was so forgettable. You know, I think Tim Seeley is a very accomplished writer, and I think he's very talented. And the artwork in this issue was flawless. I really did like the artist in this issue. What is it? Mikio Jung is so fantastic, with Jose Marzan and Jordi Belair doing the coloring, so that's exciting too. And some really nice coloring, really beautiful artwork, some great layouts, but ultimately a very boring, forgettable story. This whole Prelude to the Wedding thing, I think you just skip it. Just skip it. Just skip it. That's what I say. That's my 2-word review of the Prelude to the Wedding. Skip it. Just focus in on what Tom King's doing. But those are the books that didn't have a chance to make it into the normal weekly comic book review video. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Thank you for checking out the last video. Thank you, Chris, for this Clark Kent. It's so awesome. It's gonna like be right here. We are moving the studio soon, but I will make sure that it has a prominent space in the new studio space. So thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Check us out at popculturephilosophers.com, our t-shirts over at TeePublic, and of course on patreon.com/PCP, where you can help support this channel and unlock exclusive content like the newsletter and early access to certain videos, things like that. So peace out. We'll see you for the weekly pop culture wrap-up coming up this weekend. Podcasts and more, all that stuff. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for rocking with us. Keep on Clark Kenting, because he reads and writes.